Kumaresan sir, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
We will start by 5 minutes, sir, within 5 minutes.
Okay, ma'am. I'm audible now?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Kumaresan, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Vasumati ma'am, can we start the program?
Yes, ma'am.
Alluring afternoon to one and all gathered here. Let us start the program with the prayer song.
கருவாக்கி உருவாக்கி எனையாண்டு காத்தருளும் இறைவா நன்றி. எங்கும் நிறைந்தோனே எல்லை இலாதானே, எங்கேயும் எப்போதும் என் குலம் காப்பவனே. நெஞ்சம் துணிய துணையாய் வருவாய், நேர்மறை உணர்வுகள் பெருகிடச் செய்வாய். உடலில் உறுதியை பெரிதாய் தருவாய், உனை உணரும் அறிவை என்னுள்ளருள்வாய். சுற்றமனைத்தும் காப்பவனே, செய்தொழிலில் ஏற்றம் தருபவனே, எடுத்த செயலில் வெற்றி கொடு, என் ஆற்றல் பெருகிட அருளை கொடு. கருவாக்கி உருவாக்கி எனையாண்டு காத்தருளும் இறைவா நன்றி. வல்லமை தந்து நீ வளர்ச்சி கொடு, அகத்திலும் புறத்திலும் மலர்ச்சி கொடு. வளர்ச்சி கொடு, வளர்ச்சி கொடு, வளர்ச்சி கொடு, மலர்ச்சி கொடு.
Now, I request Dr. Esther Jayanti ma'am to address the gathering.
Alluring afternoon to all. In the name of the Almighty, today is the second day of the faculty development program, where we have gathered in this online platform. It's my great pleasure to welcome our remarkable principal, Dr. K. Mani sir, ME PhD, beloved Dean, Dr. R. Manmohan sir, MSc PhD, resource persons, Dr. S. Kumaresan sir, MSc MPhil PhD, Dr. S. Gokul Rai sir, MSc MPhil PhD, faculty members, participants on behalf of Panimalar Engineering College and Department of Physics.
Without a further delay, let's start our today's session. I request Dr. Esther Jayanti ma'am to address today's noteworthy chief guest, Mr. Dr. S. Kumaresan sir, for your notice.
Let us start with the first session of today's faculty development program. The paradox is only a conflict between reality and your feeling of what reality ought to be. With this quote, I am highly elated to introduce to you our today's tenacious chief guest, Mr. Dr. S. Kumaresan sir, MSc MPhil PhD, Assistant Professor, Department of Physics, Arinjan Anna Government Arts College, Chennai. On behalf of our reputable college secretary and correspondent, Dr. P. Chinnadurai sir, MA, MPhil, PhD, admirable directors, our esteemed principal Dr. K. Mani sir, ME, PhD, our prominent Dean of SNH Department Dr. R. N. Manmohan sir, MSc, PhD, supporting colleagues and doting friends from the reputed colleges throughout India. I passionately welcome our chief guest, Mr. Dr. S. Kumaresan sir. We also express our boundless gratitude for certifying today's program to upskill us on the topic publishing resources and misconducts, online sources, falsification, and other editorial misadventure. Before rolling into the session, let's have a briefing about our dignitary chief guest, Dr. S. Kumaresan sir. Professor S. Kumaresan sir did his PhD under the guidance of Dr. S. Gunashekaran sir. He is currently working as an assistant professor in physics at Anna Government Arts College, Chennai since 2012. Sir served as assistant professor in physics, Government Arts College, Udagamandalam from 2011 to 2012. Kumaresan sir has also served as assistant professor in physics, materials division at VIT University from 2010 to 2011. Speaking about his publications, sir has published more than 50 papers in reputed journals and has H-index of 11 with 659 citations and published 5 books so far. Sir has actively presented 33 papers in international and national conferences. Kumaresan sir served as a convener for international conference in Anna Government Arts College, Chennai. His area of specializations are spectroscopy, crystal growth, and computational methods. With this magnificent keynote, on behalf of all, I once again welcome you, sir. Now I kindly request our chief guest to take over the platform on the topic online sources, falsifications, and other editorial misadventure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for the nice introduction. I hope I am audible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the introduction. Very elaborate introduction. I don't know I will be fit for that or not. Anyway, thanks a lot for inviting me for this session. I'll straight away share my screen. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Perfectly clear. And you
Okay.
are audible, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Hope there won't be any interruption. So I thank the authorities of Panimalar Engineering College for taking such an initiative for the cultivation of research excellence to enhance innovations and professional development. So I don't know, I'm not going to discuss anything about the professional development. Rather, I'm much fascinated to discuss something on how to enhance the innovations. I was much enhanced by my innovator, who is none other than my guru, Dr. Sedu Gunashekaran. He's my academic dad, academic father. Without him, I am nothing. And I'm just taking the footsteps. And all these chances will be given to me only by him. I should salute him. I owe him for all these opportunities and making me to this level. So this is the first appreciation I have received from him in 2007 at one of the famous hall at Panimalar College. I still remember because the appreciation is very important factor for research activities, though I'm going to discuss something about the concepts on the research, but beyond which, how an academic father who inculcates the academic interest or the research interest in me just by doing his actions and also wishing me to elevate to this level. And once again, I thank him for this. And this is really a memorable day I ever forget. I never forget. And this is really a word of appreciation. And I will be thanksgiving to Professor Sethu Gunashekaran, my academic dad. So this is the college I'm representing, almost 63 years old college in a rural area. We'll be doing a lot of research activities, and this is one such a small laboratory on my, it is on the right side of the screen along with my.
Excuse me, sir. Sorry for the disturbance.
Please.
Sir, can you improve your audibility little more? Participants have very in fast me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it now clear?
Little more, sir.
Okay, I'll increase it. Will it be now? Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay. So on the right side, you'll be seeing my lab. It is only 10 by 8. And whatever the research activities which will be done only from that laboratory. And during the introduction, as mentioned, this is first ever international conference under the leadership of Dr. Sethu Gunashekaran. We have successfully concluded, we have successfully conducted an international conference at our college. That was a milestone after 50 years of excellence in that rural area. See, I'll just enter into the topic, which is on FDP, on cultivation of research excellence to enhance innovations and professional development. What capacity do I have to discuss something about the innovations as well as professional development? First of all, it is on, I'll be the member of Board of Research at the Rural University for the past 3 years. I'll be continuing now. And also the Board of Studies of Physics in our department, as well as Board of Research in our college. Being a member of the Rural University for Affiliated Colleges Research Forum, I normally discusses about the development of the research. So in the same way, the allotted topic to me by my academic father, I'm just taking up to the next level, how the innovations can be done by having good practices. And those practices which includes for my area, which I'm going to discuss on, this is of the publication ethics and how the research and publication ethics will combine. And I'm going to touch upon some of the important areas like open access publishing. Nowadays, it is very fast in publishing, and it is also easily available. Excuse me, hearing me? Hearing me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And then the second part is publication misconduct. This is about FFP and authorship, conflict of interest. This is the area which I'm going to touch upon most probably in 50 to 1 hour time, if time and the audience permits me. So this is a very important notification from the University Grants Commission, in other words UGC, that we have to take up a course when you are doing your research activities. This was on December 2009, where everyone should publish on the misconducts of the research and publication ethics, which means you have to take certain standards, and also you should admit every time that you will be publishing based on the ethics. Not only that, in 2 months' time, there is a wide reference letter from UGC circulated to all universities about the development of career for publication ethics. So these two are very important communication from the UGC for all the research scholars who will be doing the research. And please do remember, when you're going for publication of your research, and you should follow certain rules and regulations where the publication ethics should not lead to any misconduct. I'm just going to touch upon these areas with my limited knowledge on this. Kindly bear with me if I will not satisfy you. So this is my plan, rather to say, these are the areas I'm going to touch on, how the planning, the analysis, ideas behind the research activities, as well as the publication, and how to read and to revise your publication process, or rather research manuscript. And most importantly, what are the ethics to be followed for our investigation before going for the publication, whether we will follow it or not. And investigation is a very important area. And this is simply an agenda for very few cases. I just translated to cover some of this. And I'll touch upon the open access initiatives and the platforms like Sherpa Promo. Then I will be discussing on the predatory journals, and I'm just touching upon the journal finders, or some of the tools to find the good journals, and definitely on the publication ethics, and importantly, how the misconduct of publications taking place nowadays because of the open access as well as the rapid publication communications. Most importantly, I'll be touching upon the fabrication, falsification, and as well as the conflict of interest with the authors. Lastly, the plagiarism and the tools. Right. So let us start with that. Everyone who will be doing research, definitely they have to uh, publish some findings, their findings in the journals. So definitely the role of a journal that the researcher should know before going for any publication. First of all, the journals should facilitate the communication among the researchers. Not only that, it should set the intellectual standards. See, suppose if we have some of the journals like the Journal of Raman Spectroscopy, it is really one such a standard journal. It has been governed by the intellectuals. Similarly, the journal should help the researchers to advance in their careers, because what today's publication that has to reach to the researcher so that he can carry on for that next, or otherwise he can do some other work. Convey results to the academic community. And of course, we are all academicians, though we will be on the research. And this has to be communicated to the academic community so that the young generation can benefit what the latest research should have. So these are the roles of the journal, where it conveys results to the society also. What is today that has to be immediately published to the society. Every research, my academic father used to mention this, it should reach to the society. So not simply in the papers. It should be useful to the human communities. It should be useful to the society. And definitely, you should certify the authenticity of the research, because once you publish, your research will be authentified, which means in your name, your paper has been published. So these are all the role of the journal. And here, what makes the good research? Because I did my research almost 16 years before, and I'll be carried out every day. We'll be learning something from our scholars, from our students. Only because of them, we'll be learning every day. Otherwise, we cannot. And what makes a good research, whether it is a good science or the good ethics practices, it is a combination of two, where the good science will give you the problem selection, methodology, as well as the in-depth analysis to the problem. And good ethics refers to a fair subject selection. Definitely the subject which one has selected, you should not select on. And most importantly, that should be an independent review and also informed consent. This suits to the journals, as well as this suits to one who is taking up the research for a scholars. So this is a brief process where a research, whatever the findings it may be, that should be presented in a manuscript, and that manuscript will be submitted to the journal by means of a selection process based on the focus of the journal or otherwise aim and scope of the journal. And after submitting it, it will go for peer review by the experts. And after review, if it is accepted, or if you have any corrections, or if that paper is not worthy enough, or it will not satisfy the conditions of the scope of the journal, then it will get rejected. So the revision and number of times the revision process will also be taking place. Now the thing is, what makes a good research? It is a combination of a good science and good ethics. Good ethics will give you the fair processes and how we'll be doing on it, right? Now, do you sell knowledge? Because it is a matter of good science and good ethics. If you got good science, if you don't have good ethics, then the research is waste, or vice versa. That is also a waste. So the thing is, we simply claim knowledge is wisdom, but the wisdom knowledge has to be shared. And we simply say lend, but not to rent. Definitely should not sell your knowledge. And today, the pay-per-view is really a devil's doom. And even for just a pay-per-view, I see some of the journals which will be charging like anything, costing around nearly $600 to $700. So it will be around 5,000 to 6,000 rupees in our term. And mostly the cost of journal, which is something high, which an individual cannot only big colleges like Panimalar can afford for it, whereas individuals cannot. And more so, the limited access to the researchers and academicians. Because though we are claiming today internet has been grown to many folds, but the thing is, when it comes to the knowledge, the access is very limited, especially to the researchers as well as to the academician. So one should not sell the knowledge, rather it has to be shared. In what way it can be shared? The best practice is open access. See, if I publish a paper and I will be giving it for open access, then the other researcher will come and he can see it without paying anything. So open access is a mere process. Once the submitted article to the journal, after publication, the author or the authors have to give the agreement. While giving an agreement, the authors have to pay a reasonable fee for the publication cost or for the publishing where it can be viewed to anybody, which means it will get access to anybody who is interested in that area. So this is open access. So after signing an agreement from the authors with the publisher can just float it to open access where it can be viewed by anybody without paying a single fine. So what are the initiatives for this open access? This is really for the scholarly community, especially for the scientific community, for not commercializing the publishing thing, as well as reducing the subscription fees or license fees, or even pay-per-views. So there is no restriction for this access, and rather this open access initiatives given by most of the journals, which will be very useful for the scholars as well as the academicians. And the thing is, what are the way one can go for open access initiatives? This is Budapest Open Access Initiatives, abbreviated as BOAI, the concept related to the journal literatures. It is free availability to the public internet. It is available. And permitting any users to read, you can download, copy, distribute, nothing wrong in it. But the thing is, we should not directly take it from there. After copying or after distributing it, you cannot publish it because it has already been published, right? So download is possible, copying and distribute. Not only that, you can take prints, search, link to full text of these articles, or any unlawful purposes you should not use. And remember, this is the most important. The open action initiatives is only for without financial support. which means no need to pay anything. And remember, it is very legal. One can use it, right? And there were so many avenues, or rather I can say the directories for open access journals, or the directories which governs the open access journals. I just list out only very few which are all easily available in our search. You just go and type for in Google open access publishers. You can find numerous numbers where some of the things in Sage publications we have published AAP, American Institute of Physics, we published IOP, as well as Springer Open, Oxford Universities, Copernicus publications. All these we have published at least a paper in these publishers. Of course, in India, we have.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, yes,
Sir, could you come closer to your laptop because your voice is not audible?
Yeah, I'm very closer. I'm taking my microphone very closer to my voice. Closest.
Okay.
Is it clear
Okay.
now? Is it clear now?
Okay, better now.
Okay. I'll not change my position so that one can hear it.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you. See, these are all the open access directories. Oyster.org, DOAJI, that is Directory of Open Access Journal. And there are some repositories, and we can archives as well as OpenGate. And do remember, when we go for certain books, there are restrictions, especially for Cambridge as well as Chennai's publication, like Oxford publications. We have open access directories. You can take it, but you cannot publish even a single line as such what it is available in the open access directories or open access books. So some of the directories as well as some of the list of books which are all available in these websites that the researchers can utilize when they needed it. And not only the directories and repositories, they've got some listservs. This is tiny URL serves for Spark, SPARC, as well as library license. This is liblicense L. And nowadays, blogs are very emerging, and everyone will be using blogs. And there are so many blogs. I just listed out only 5 on it, of which Poninder Blogspot are very easy. Cavelec, that is also useful. And tinyurl.com, any researchers can use it to take up the articles which are all available in this. So the blogs and listservs also possible for open access journals, right? See, this was sometimes before I have taken and find time to take up the latest list to find the open access journals article. This is DOAG. In 80 languages of 126 countries, there were 11,862, which I taken it on 13th July 2021. Right? This list will endlessly go. You can find a lot on this. I just selected all fields, but one can go for selecting, particularly in our specialization. If you select spectroscopy, the number of journals will get reduced. Whereas you can find the article records, which is amazing, almost 63 lakh articles, which are all available for this directory. So all these articles are open access articles. So one can utilize it, one can use it. So these are all the avenues and ways where one can research the knowledge from the available sources on the internet, right? See how the publishing in open access journals are possible. There were only 2 routes, and I refer to the Gold Road and the Green Road. You see, for open access publishing, the important aspect for publication is the ethics. And not only that, for doing so, the scholarly literature cannot be freely disseminated, which means I cannot throw my knowledge just like that so that anybody can take it. It is not in the way that today's electronic media, which are all easily available to anybody, can easily grab all these opportunities from others' mind. So there were so many personal websites, blogs, and repositories which are all available, though they claim it as Green Road, where the authors are enabled to deposit their journals to the open access. Do remember, for any route, if you opt for the gold road or if you opt for a green road, it has to be supported importantly by the open access directories. That is most important. So that is what I just listed out, those directories through which you have to submit your papers. Otherwise, it can be easily accessible to others. And this is the route to open access. See, which enables the general public to freely read and reuse pre-published. And some of the platforms which are all available through internet. This is PLOS, Biomed Central Journals, especially for biomedical applications. Of course, the directories I mentioned, DOAJ journals, DOAR, the repositories, and ROAR, this is a repository as well as a platform, and Sharapova Romeo. And you see, this is a very powerful tool where you can easily identify the open access journals. Not only that, Spark is a powerful tool, but using this is very difficult. So these are all the tools which are all available and very easy for the young researchers. One can go for publication is DOAJ or Sherpa Romeo. So these are all the routes to open access channel. Not only that, while selecting for a open access journal, in which way that you have to take, whether it is a hybrid journal or a journal of something like a delayed open access journal, they can get your paper and they will publish only after 6 months of time or even 1 year of time. Whereas some of the journals which will be publishing just 45 days after getting a consent from you. And most of the journals, especially in Science Direct or Thomas Reuters or even the Thomas Walker, those are all the hybrid journals, especially open access journals, they can publish within 90 days of time, that is 3 months of time. Whereas I have just quoted one thing, the Physical Society of Japan is an example for traditional journal which delayed open access. Almost it will take nearly 1.5 years to publish it, but you'll get the publication status after acceptance from the journal office. And this is not only that, uh, this will give you an idea about how one can go for the open access. These are simply types which has been classified from the hybrid journals. This is gratis open access, free from price barriers, but some delivery charges will be there. So this is gratis in the sense they can ask for the publication charges in terms of the materials they can use it, like paper, printing cost and all. And the Libre open access, it's a form and definitely one has to fill up for it. You need not to pay anything, but there is a technical restriction. This depends upon the country to country. So copyright and licensing, one has to follow this. So for Libre open access, the important thing is it is freedom from some form of permission barriers. So once it has been given, once the copyright has been given, licensing has been given, immediately it goes for it. You cannot claim again. That is the technical restriction one should go for it. Right? This is a mandate. Of course, everyone will be giving a mandate to the publisher so that after publication, what are the legal issues that one has to face.
Excuse me, sir, there is no audibility from your side.
Hearing me, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, there is a network problem.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah. Is it clear now?
Yeah, yes,
Or-
sir.
yeah.
It is clear.
Yeah, very good. See, this is the way one can go for the gold route or green route.
So we are
Based-
not able to see our slides.
1 second. I'm in the share screen. Hope you'll be getting it. Will it be now?
Yes,
Is it?
sir. You can
is it clear?
maximize the screen, sir.
Yeah. 1 second. Is it clear now?
Yes. Yes, sir. It is clear.
So the researcher decides to publish where one can find the different platforms I have quoted here. This is the hierarchy one has to follow for it, whether they will be using for a gold route or for the other route. But the thing is, after the publication, the open access will reach to whether it will reach immediately to the publisher or it is available to the researcher or academician. That has to be decided by the publishing authorities, which means the journal will take the what is that, copyrights as well as the rights. So it is very important after paying the processing fee, ensure that this paper or manuscript has to be published immediately so that it will be useful to the scientific community, right? See, for instance, I have just given my own open access. You see, this is from the mail I took it, 14th of July. Share your article. I just shared one of my article. This is from the elsewhere, where my sharing will fetch us. You see that it improves not only the thing, it will be useful to the others. It improves the citation. Now the citation, which I took it on 31st of October at 2:15 p.m., where the citation is 1138 and H index is 15 and I-10 index is 22. Because of H index 15, I am being selected for the Board of Research at the Rural University, where the criteria for selecting the research members, which will be more than 50 or equal to 50, right? Not only that, the first thing, which is cited by 3306, that is 336, which has been published in 2008. The first author is Professor Sethu Gunashekharan. This is Canadian Journal of Analytical Sciences and Spectroscopy, which has fetched us the highest citation ever. In a similar way, almost 22 papers have got more than 10 citations. So this is the greatest advantage where these papers or manuscripts can be viewed by the others. Only thing is you have to pay a very minimal amount so that the others can use it. Right. The question is, which platform you can use it? I'll be expanding only the platform which I have used. Why is Sherpa Home? This is it will give you the endless list of publishers' permission. Not only that, it offers a wide variety of journals, basics from the arts, the science, medicine, etc. and etc. And self-publishing by the authors, it will give you preprints, postprints, all are possible. And the paid options also possible. And importantly, the compliance with the research funders and the mandates one has to do. We can give any compliances to them. The purpose is very important to help determine achieving the rights. So they will get the rights. And this is the link which I used to go. This is for ac.uk. India is also supposed to develop on this. And UGC is planning to go for it with the sherpa.ac.in, where one can go for archiving almost numbers. Whereas we have got Swayam, that is also there. That is also comes under the open access category, but with some limited access to it. And importantly, the publishers will get the information, and more so, all users' suggestions will be taken for it. So whatever you can publish through this platform, it will be easy for us to take the preprints, postprints, and also you can give an access to open access options. Now you see there were 4 different colors like green, blue, yellow, and white, where green can show you the pre and post prints for publication process. Of course, the blue will give you the final draft, and yellow can give you the archive for pre-printing, and white will give you archiving not formally supported, which means white means you have to be careful whether it will be going for any revision process or something like that. So for one of the journal, the list has been given here, and you see some markings. Those are all the areas which we are not submitting when you are submitting your paper or submitting your manuscript. And this is very important topic for our young researchers. So today, I feel there were almost 300 journals possible, especially for science, and of which 300 journals refers to what it is given in some of the biggest publishers like Springer, Thomas Ritter, like Science Direct. So they listed out almost 300 journals, of which this comes under a special category called predatory journals. So this is very important how hawk can chase a hare, and this is how the publishers are chasing the researchers now because of one such important conditions prescribed by the UGC. You have to publish at least 2 papers from the listed journals, that is CARE listed journals. Some other universities they would have taken for 3, some others they will be for 4 or 5 something. See, my academic dad used to mention, if you're going for thesis writing, at least you should have 5 papers. So that's a good thing, so that all our concept has to be published to the public, so that there is no question which will be coming out, which means we are authentified with our work, which means 5 publications in our hand before going for writing the thesis. And of course, there are a number of predatory journals. They actually ask the researcher for a manuscript. Every day we'll be getting lots and lots of mails for doing some of it. The thing is whether it is a real or a real, which means real or not real, and have no peer review system. That is the biggest drawback. If you are going for a CARE listed journals, definitely you have a peer review system. At least 3 reviewers, of which 2 reviewers have to comment that your paper is good so that it will go for a publication. Even one accepts, the other rejects, it will go for a 3rd review because equal weightage will not be taken. So it will ask for a huge publication charges. I see some of the journals which are charging for almost 1.5 lakhs. Identifying such journals are very important. It is not an easy task to identify such a predatory journals. And UGC have taken an initiative to list out certain predatory journals to help the young researchers. They should not be fall prey to those predatory journals. And do remember, HRD ministry to remove all bogus journals. In fact, the SSP University, Savitri Pune University, whose Vice Chancellor has taken the initiatives and is the member of UGC Standing Committee, has given the notification to all the academicians. They identify every fortnight for the bogus journals. So the researchers has to be very careful for going to publication, and they should not be a mere prey to the predatory journals. And do remember, I'll give you some of the stances which are very important for identifying or you should be escaping from the predatory journals using ISS. It is possible. Citing the fake or non-existing impact factors. The impact factor Probably yesterday, my academic father might have mentioned it about the database system as well as the role of impact factor for a journal to suggest on how the quality of the journals will be based on the impact factor. Non-existing impact factor, which refers to, we find a lot in most of the journal pages where the impact factor seems to be 9, 10, 12, 15 and all. I do believe one of the standard journals which will be doing our research areas, like vibrational spectroscopy, which has been published from Taylor and Francis, Journal of Raman Spectroscopy, which is from again Taylor and Francis. Those journals which will be running for almost 70 years, and they'll be having the highest impact factor is 3.5 to 4.5. Whereas I find some of the journals, they'll be simply quoting the impact factor to 15 and 16. This is unbelievable. They are all really fake and non-existent impact factors. And definitely one can know that poorly maintained websites, and there may be a prominent spelling mistakes, grammatical errors on those websites. And it is very important, please to withdraw an article. How an article can be withdrawn after the publication, unless or otherwise it has been published earlier, which means there is no peer review system. And the publishers also recognize certain initiatives like SCOPE, UOAJ, as well as OASPA. That means these are all directories. One can identify those predatory journals. We should be very, very cautious. And this is how one can find it with the suggestive tools I mentioned. You see that eDance Journal Selector. This is an editing service. This is elsewhere. And one can go for the Springer. And this is from our own country, IEE publications. There were almost 170 periodicals. And this is mainly for the conferences which we do in India. And not only that, Jane Journal Article Estimate, Journal Guide, and co-factored journal selectors. And these are all some of the ways one can identify a good journal, and you can easily escape from predatory journals. Right? TCS, does it mean Tata Consulting Services? Definitely not. This Think. Are you submitting your research with a trusted journal? Yes, trust is very important. You have to think and select your journal to a right journal for your work. You should know the scope and aim of the journal before going for publication. And check. We have to access these journals at least for 3 to 4 years so that the continuity will be there. One can authenticize or check every time what are all our research interest area people can publish on these journals. And at last, you can go for a submission. Think, check, and submit so that you can select a good journal. Your publication will reach to the good people, right? This is the simplest flow chart which will give you the publication ethics. First and the foremost thing is forget Control C and Control V. Remember, if you don't have control, you'll go for Control C because you don't have control to see. That is why Control C and Control V. Forget it. Maintain high confidentiality. Whatever we are doing, we'll not exposing to anyone unless or otherwise the thing will get published. Before publication, be confident and maintain it. Not even to disclose anything to your close researchers. Responsible in publishing. One should take the responsibility because it is our responsibility, our paper to be published to the public domain. And importantly, the data management. And there are some other like honesty and integrity. This comes under the important category. I'm very honest and I maintain the integrity so that my publication will reach the public. And do remember, there are some ethics as well as the practices. If you have some animals, that is care for the lab in the animals as well as for the human beings. And there are so many others which are all comes under the category of publication ethics. And I'm just running fast to go for some others in this. This is fabrication, falsification, FFP, And I'll touch upon the authorship for plagiarism, guest and the ghost authors. This is very important. And definitely I'll touch upon the duplicate publication. See, the devotion to the research becomes a do. Nowadays, I don't want to discourage the scholars who will be doing all it. They set a time limit for the research activities, and definitely the devotion to the research becomes a do. Knowledge depth becomes an easy route. If you take a pen drive and if you put it in computers, you can take it. Or even some of the thing like Bluetooth devices, just like that way. And fabrication tools are very handy. One can easily morph myself with others so that the other can enjoy the credibility of mine. So FFP plays a vital role for the publication. So there should not be any falsification, there should not be any fabrication, and definitely you should not have any plagiarism, right? So to measure the control group, this is fabrication. How the fabrication comes up, unless or otherwise, if you are exposed to your areas of research to some others with the available tools, it can be easily fabricated by the others. So entering the similar numbers in statistical data. So if I put x is equal to 1, you can put x is equal to 2. Then this becomes mere fabrication. And data manipulations is also possible. And all these things, just by manipulations, one should avoid the fabrication. Do remember, fabrication is a biggest mistake nowadays when you're going for publication. And all data falsification, manipulation, and data records in the lab notes ought to be certified before going for any publication. And even if you record something like FTR and FT-Raman, those recording date has to be published to the publisher, especially for some of the journals like vibrational spectroscopy. The date on which this sample has to be recorded has to highlight on it. So the dishonest presentation will give you a falsification certificate. And do remember, falsification, it is an enemy to any academician as well as for the scientific community when they are going for fabrication. And this is very important, plagiarism. See, it is mere a knowledge theft. What I used to write, and immediately that will be copied by the other. It is not mere an examination taking it from the others. This is mere a publication, where what I published, it is on my own. What I do not, I should not copy it from the others. Which means word to word is not at all possible. Even nowadays, there are certain tools like Urkund or Plug Tool and WAN. They are very careful in taking up just 3 combined words from a same journal. They will identify it. That will be recorded as 1% of the error if I take 3 words. So ideas you should not take, data you should not take, the concept you should not, words, methods, images, etc. and etc. Then what is that? So it is purely an innovation from your mind, from your heart, that you have to express it. So research comes from only the innovation. Just to make the innovation, these plagiarism tools will be giving more advantages for getting a good research. And remember, if you have got less than 10% of your manuscript writing in the plagiarism tools, then you will become a reputed author, where your originality will get exposed to the scientific community, right? So there are so many things like complete plagiarism, source-based plagiarism, verbatim. Sometimes somebody will use the same word, self-plagiarism. If I published more than 73 papers, if you just go and see that the initial stages from 2006 to 2010, most probably some of the wordings will be the repetition, because the same person will be writing on it. And now the self-plagiarism is allowed up to 30%, whereas the other is allowed only for 15 to 20%. So these are all the different types of plagiarisms possible. And do remember, for all these things, you have to take up one thing: quoting, summarizing, paraphrasing, and common knowledge. So all are statistical things. One should not quote the same thing. You should not summarize the same way. And you should not paraphrase the same thing twice in a journal. And remember, the common knowledge will not be repeated. again and again. So there were so many plagiarism tools available. I can share this with, one can use it simply. It is available on this. Normally, we used to go for plagiarism checker or uni check, some other like Arkan check. So these are all the certain checkers which are used, and it will be used by our researchers, right? So this is way one can go for it. I'll skip to the authorship. See, when you are going for authorship, certain journals will go for restrictions. You should not go beyond 8 authors. If you're putting 9th author, they will eliminate it. In some other journal, they will be allowing almost 15 authors. So while going for it, why the research paper should have many authors? This is the simplest thing. The quality of the research and the quantum of research that depends on too many people who will be working on, and the collective responsibility will be coming as a manuscript. So their contribution should not be just like that will eliminate it. In most of the interdisciplinary papers, apart from the few sciences, even for medical physics and other things, it requires a lot more persons whose expertise will be used for going for any publication. It is better you have so many authors, but not too many authors. So many is different from too many. So we will be not allowing too many on that. And you see that this is the author's credit. One of my scholar, Mr. M. Mani, now he's become a doctoral candidate. He's Dr. M. Mani, whose investigation, along with most of the members in that, investigation, writing, original draft, project administration, software, and so on and so forth. All this has been governed by him. And my area is very simple. This is funding acquisition, software use and visualization. And almost 7 members were there. And they will be taking their responsibility. So authors will be giving their responsibility. And depending on the credit of the authors, you have to arrange it in order, so that the first author will share the 50% of its credit. The remaining authors will be sharing the 50% of the credit. So first author will be having the highest credit. So this credit system, which will give you the authenticity to the author and whose paper or manuscript that belongs to, right? This is a simple thing. We call it as how the authorship has been classified. The guest authorship, the things it will be the credibility to the work, and gift authorship, who just does the manuscript alone. And the most common unethical practices include the name of PhD advisor or the department as an author, of course. And we are all the PhD advisors or supervisors. We normally include our name, because this is a protocol where a researcher should understand that he is doing the research work under this guidance. And I'll be taking the responsibility only the last credit. My name will be always on the be the last name. And ghost authorship, they'll be just communicating one thing, and mostly it will be on IE journals where ghost authorship is allowed. So guest, gift author, and ghost author. Be a guest author, not to be a gifted author. And of course, I am a gifted author. I'll be publishing this paper only my research scholars usually do for it. I should thank them on this occasion. And importantly, this is conflict of interest. Definitely, when you're doing the research, there is no conflict of interest, because it is the responsibility collectively how many researchers will be doing it. And importantly, there should be a financial conflict of interest, because this is nowadays arising more, especially when you are going for funding. And so far, I have not got any personal conflict of interest, but after publication, some of them will be asking for it, how these things can be happened because of the number of authors, for example, 5 or 6 authors in it, so that the publications is possible. And the conflict of interest and the responsibility, this is most important. See, the first author and the corresponding author shares this as the highest credit, and they will be taking the conflict of interest from the responsibility. Who will be taking it, whether it is a first author or a corresponding author? In most of the journals, they will be taking the equal credit. So they will be taking the equal responsibility. So first author as well as the corresponding author will be taking the conflict of interest of responsibility. And of course, intellectual conflict of interest that comes under only for what is that? The subject related issues along with some religious content or morals or some convictions which are wrong. So this depends on the area to area. And definitely one has to sign for the resolution of conflict of interest. Every author has to do. And this is the declaration which we have given. Recently, we published in November, that means this month publication on environmental research by Dr. Mani. This has been, we got the publication just a month before. We have given the declaration. All the authors have given that known for the conflict of interest. And of course, Dr. Mani has got the financial assistance and equally that has been acknowledged in all these papers. So this is the declaration that one has to give, and we have given, and this paper has been published. Now it is open to one and all. One can use it for the green synthesis of silver oxide nanoparticle for antibacterial, antimicrobial activities. And these are all the references I have taken from, mostly from the open access, which were all possible. And you see that so many books which were all available. One can use it for research methodology. And I can conclude this with one of the famous quote, which was given by the biophysicist of Hungarian. He's a Nobel laureate. Research is to see what everybody else has seen. Think what nobody has. Nobody has. We just see that nobody has thought. See, the thought process is very important. And do remember, if you have a good thought process, definitely go for such a good publications. I should thank everyone who's without their contribution, I might have not given this talk to you all. Thank you so much. You can follow us with our blog or our Facebook page, which is the Special Physics Research Laboratory. Every week we will be updating it. And in the blog, every talk has been uploaded. One can see that. And all these publications, you can take it from the blog, which is available on this, which is given. And I should thank the authorities, especially the convener, organizing secretary, principal, and management of Panimalar Engineering College for giving a wonderful opportunity to share my knowledge to you all. Thanks. Thank you once again. Thank you once again. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your informative session, sir.
Thank you.
Now the session is open for questions and discussions. Participants can kindly unmute mic and ask your questions.
Sir, I have a query, sir.
Please.
Regarding the ghost authorship.
Yeah.
Sir, you told that for medical related journal alone, those kind of authorship is allowed. We can include those people's name, whereas in the case of rest of the things, it is not ethical to add their name.
Yeah.
One way or the other, these people are also contributing for enhancing and exhibiting their knowledge, right? In some way or the other, they are guiding. So what's wrong, or what makes to have an unethical behavior to include their name? Why their name cannot be included, and why it is only allowed only to include their name for medical related journals? Why not for other kind of journals?
Yeah, it's a good thing, but it is technically I'm surprised how to answer for your question. The thing is, in the medicinal field, if I do something like finding even nowadays, today's situation like COVID, you can examine with spectroscopic methods like FDP. A blood sample can be taken from a COVID patient. You can take a FDP from which you can identify. But you know, the medicinal people, they have got a research team. They understood, they accept only if it is clinically proven. My academic dad used to mention, even FTRs will be used in medicinal field for identifying certain things. They did a lot of research work. The thing which you have asked is, unless or otherwise it is not clinically proven, that thing will not be taken into consideration. So though my contribution will be there in the medicinal field, but they will not be accepting it. How can they accept me as an author to include in their manuscript? So that is why this has been classified very clearly. They simply call it as a ghost authors. They will include it in some or other cases. They will include it, but this will be classified as a ghost author because their contribution is very minimal. Even you would have mentioned, you would have noticed. You just see that in this, yeah. The last one, K. Kaviyarasu, is also one of the author. He's taking the credit for validation, visualization, writing, and editing. Who takes the highest responsibility of editing and all? See, if I write something, if someone edits it, what does it mean? He's the extreme responsible person. So though all those names will be having equal weightage, but the credit systems will go for a change. So that is why they are not accepting the simple contribution as their contribution. So they will not include us as a authors. Hope I have answered you for your question.
Okay, sir. And one more question, sir, regarding that plagiarism tools, whether they are open access or we have to pay for it?
No, this is very good question because all are open access journals, open access tools, and you have to finalize before submitting to those tools. For example, I'll tell you, if I submit something in those tools, the tools will have a provision to record all our information with that because it is going to check it with the general platform.
Yes, sir.
And there is a possibility that this thing will be viewed by the others. So that is why in most of the universities, they will be using a single software, and this single software will be connected to the server with a license, assuring that they should not be shared. If you use anything which is available in the open access, it will immediately get shared.
Yes, sir.
In our university, we have objected when you are going for it. If you go for 30% and more, it is only because of not giving any license. If you are not getting any license, it will be easily available to any sources which are available.
Yes.
So this is very important.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So myself having a doubt, sir.
Please.
Let me know which is the cost-effective and best plagiarism checker, sir, in India at present.
Actually, I cannot classify as such because I normally used to do one or two. Our scholars used to do at least 3 to 4 platforms, of which the plagiarism tools are easily available. Probably that one will be the best. In most of the universities, including Madras University, Tirunelveli University, as well as in Anna University, they will be using it. So plagiar tool will be the best, especially for the student point of view. It is very cheaper also. You can submit a manuscript for a cost of just 120 rupees. In some universities, they will be getting a plagiarism fee of nearly 300 rupees. In our university, they will be getting it. And they will check it and give it to us. So plagiar tool will be the best, in my opinion.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Hearty thanks for delivering a knowledgeable talk on the topic online sources falsification and other editorial misadventure. Let the light you have shedded through this presentation serve as a beacon to empower our thoughts. Thank you once again, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now I hand over the session to Ms. Vasumati ma'am, Department of Physics, and request her to deliver the addressal for the second session.
Before entering into the second session, I wholeheartedly thank Dr. Kumaresan sir for his elaborative presentation and clearing all the queries raised by us. Thank you so much, sir. An enchanting evening to all. Science is a way of thinking much more than it is a body of knowledge. Carl Sagan. With his quote, it's a propitious time to introduce to you our today's astounding chief guest, Mr. Dr. S. Gokulraj sir, MSc, MPhil, PhD, Assistant Professor, Department of Physics in C. Kandaswamy Naidu College for Men, Chennai. On behalf of our reputable college secretary and correspondent, Dr. P. Chinnadurai sir, MA, MPhil, PhD, valuable directors, our virtuous principal, Dr. K. Mani sir, affable Dean of S&H Department, Dr. R. Manmohan sir, supporting colleagues and friends from various esteemed colleges throughout India. I extend an ardent welcome to our chief guest, Mr. Dr. S. Gokulraj sir. We also express our fervent gratitude for accepting our invitation to expound on the topic funding agencies for sponsored research projects. Before we get around to start our session, let's catch the side of our dignitary chief guest's accomplishments journey. Mr. Dr. S. Gokulraj sir was awarded PhD in physics during the year 2006. Sir started his career as a CSIR research associate in physics department of Presidency College during the year 2007 to 2008. Followed by Dr. S. Gokulraj sir worked as a DST young scientist in the Department of Physics, National Institute of Technology, NIT, Trichurapalli during the year 2008 to 2010. Dr. S. Gokulraj sir served as an associate professor in the Department of Physics in Vailtech, Dr. R.R. and Dr. S.R. Technical University during 2011 to 2016. Currently, sir is serving as assistant professor in the Department of Physics in C. Kandaswamy Naidu College for Men from 2016 to till date. To put it in a nutshell, sir has a total experience of 14 years in research and teaching field. Gokulraj sir has been elected as Fellow of the Academy of Science, Chennai during 2015. Besides, he is a life member of Indian Physics Association, Magnetic Society of India, and Indian Science Congress. To ponder on his publication details, sir has published 91 international Scopus indexed journals, 66 international indexed journals, 2 non-indexed journals, 15 Elsevier proceedings, 10 AIP proceedings, 3 IEEE proceedings, 3 other international proceedings, holding an H index of 17. Dr. S. Gokulraj sir has actively attended 51 international, 25 national conferences, and also presented few papers in conferences. Adding to his credit, Dr. S. Gokulraj sir was adorned as session chair at International Conference on Materials for Advanced Technologies held during 2011 in Muse, Singapore. Besides, he has also attended Second International Conference on Mechanical and Materials Engineering organized by ISAET during 2013, which was held at Pattaya, Thailand. Sir has also participated in 25 national and 10 international workshops and has been invited as chief guest and chief guest lecture for 10 FDPs. To add upon, Dr. S. Gokulraj sir has guided 2 MSc students and 1 MPhil student so far. Sir has also carried out few funded research projects sponsored by DST SCRC during a period of 2008 to 2010 and DRDO ARM REB sponsored project for a period of 2012 to 2016. Few of his mentionable fields of specializations are as follows: synthesis and characterization of materials for various technological applications, single crystal nonlinear by low temperature and high temperature methods, nanophase formation and investigation on to the properties of optical, electrical, and magnetic materials.
Madam,
Madam, this is Gokul Raj. We'll start the session. I'll start the session.
Okay.
So that, we'll definitely. Thanks for the nice.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Short introduction. I'm glad to welcome our student's chief guest once again on behalf of all. So without a further ado, I kindly request our chief guest to hit the platform on the topic funding agencies for sponsored research projects. Over to you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, madam. That was a nice introduction about me.
Thank you.
Am I audible to all? Is there any disturbance?
Yes, audible, sir.
Audible. Is the clarity is good?
Sir, your screen has not yet been shared, sir.
Okay, I'll start sharing.
Yes,
okay, but my participant sharing is disabled. Okay. Madam, I am unable to share the screen.
Sir, 1 minute, sir.
1 minute, sir. 1 minute, sir. Now you can share, sir.
Okay. Is it visible, madam? Screen?
Yes, sir. Perfectly visible. No problem. You can continue, sir.
Okay. So today's topic will be on funding agencies on sponsored research projects. Actually, I have covered in this today's talk on broad classification. After that, we'll have some 10-15 minutes of interaction session, so that the only lecture would not satisfy all the faculties. Of course, an interaction with funding and other agencies would definitely do justice to this seminar. Okay. Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank our beloved founder, see Kandaswamy Naidu, Kondavaru Kandaswamy Naidu. Through his wealth, this institution was developed. And also, I would like to thank our Pachepa's Trust Board and Sri Pachepa Mudaliar, the great philanthropist. Through his immense wealth, the father of these charities, the institutions where lakhs and lakhs of students have benefited, and also teachers, engineers, many, even in those days, doctors, as well as many advocates, judges have studied in this great institution. So I'd like to thank Sri Pachepa Mudaliar at this instant. Okay. I would like to thank Panimalar Engineering College for organizing such a wonderful faculty development program, Cultivation of Research Excellence to enhance innovations and professional development. I would like to thank the chief patron, the executive patron, the advisors, organizing secretary, convener, and the co-convener, teaching and non-teaching fellows. I'd like to thank all the funding agencies for supporting me throughout the career. I'd like to quote upon one Swami Vivekananda's quote: take up one idea, make that one idea your life. Think of it, dream of it, live on that idea. So let the brain muscles serve every part of your body. Be full of part of that idea and just leave every other idea alone. This is the way to success. So this is one of the famous quote that was quoted by Swami Vivekananda. First, for a funding agency, where should I go and look at it? The first and foremost thing is people should visit the education.gov.in, the website. Our higher education, Honorable Education Minister, Sri Dharmendra Pradhan. Now, in this education website, they are given about school education and higher education. So, what are the department's activities? What are the policies? First and foremost thing, before going for any proposal, what are the schemes that is enlisted? What are the schemes that has been highlighted by the central government? So this is the first and foremost thing people should look after it. Then if we go for India government.vin, now they have given what are the government activities in all the education and its allied sectors. Let it be a school education or a higher education. They have given all the details. So I'll also list out all the websites whenever people request. So definitely. Now this is having higher education, school education, and also the related activities surrounding it, right? So this is the first area people should look after it. Next, what are the funding agencies? Where should I focus? This is the first question people ask me frequently. The overview of the presentation will include, in general, the general funding agencies areas of focus. Whenever people ask me, sir, which funding agency will be the easiest way to approach? Likewise, people assume that, sir, for Diwali or Pongal or any other offer, which is the best offer they give? It is obviously, of course, it depends upon the festival. Like that, each funding agency will have a thrust area, will have a focus. So depending on our specialized area, they classify it and accordingly, they modify it time to time. Right. Next is, what is the funding agency which they are broadly classified? Now, Ministry of Science and Technology, they control the UGC, CSIR, DST, DRDO. All these funding agencies are controlled by Department of Ministry of Science and Technology. There are many state and central government funding agencies. Today, mostly I have focused on central government funding agencies, as there are very less state government agencies. Even though state government sponsors these fundings, these funds are either given in the central scheme or from the DST or CSIR or UGC schemes. Right. The Ministry of Science and Technology has allotted almost 15,000 crores in the budget. You see, just they have identified, they have given 15,000 crores, right? For this 2021-22. Okay, I tried to highlight it, but it's not highlighting, not an issue. Just I will mention the code. They have allotted, you see, 50,000 crore, which is 25% increase in the current fiscal year. So many people cite that, so due to Corona, government has stopped funding for research. So due to Corona, most of the funds are stopped. No, this is not so. You see, almost 2,500 crore, there is an increase from the previous year. Year by year, government is spending more on research, funding and development. Right. This is the first thing we should keep in mind. So the Ministry of Science and Technology in general has three departments. One is Department of Science and Technology, Department of Biotechnology, Department of Scientific and Industrial Research. So all these departments played a major role in the COVID, and everyone knows that. In the earlier, DST has earmarked 6,000 crores, while Department of Biotechnology, they have allotted 3,500 crores. So altogether, they were revised budget of 15,000. Apart from this, Ministry of Earth Science has allotted almost 1,900 crores. So this is 20% increase from the previous years, right? So people should bear in mind that people should not think that from the gossips. I have heard from many researchers gossips that central government has stopped the funding. The funding is very less. No, it is not so. They are providing much more from. Now, the next thing is Ministry of Science and Technology. Dr. Jitendra Singh is the Honorable Minister of State for this, and he is an independent in charge. If you go into the website, they are having department details. So before going, see, for example, for any vehicle to drive, before driving a vehicle, before buying a mobile, before buying a laptop, what we do? we do go into the specification, we do go into the manual, what are the features, advantages, like that. If we are going to write a proposal to any departments, we should bear in mind that what is our research area, what is the research area of the funding agency, what they wish to give funds, for what purpose they want to give the fund. So for that purpose, we should satisfy the criteria. And hence, again and again, I am insisting and reiterating that people must visit the website. So it is Ministry of Science and Technology. As I mentioned, Ministry of Science and Technology has DS Science and Technology, Biotechnology, DSIR or CSIR, which it is Directorate or Department of Scientific and Industrial Research. In general, the Department of Science and Technology, it was established in 71 and Biotechnology in 86 and DSIR in 85. So all these funding agency, the core idea is to fund basically the development of science and technology in India. So this is their core values, right? So when we go through these websites, again, every website is given separately. Department of Science and Technology, again it is subclassified, Biotechnology and CSIR. So in this, now you need to look into the thrust areas for each department. So for that, you need to visit each and individual departments separately. So why do you need to promote research? Why do government want to promote research? To communicate your research to peer experts, to guide in higher incentives, citations, find potential collaborators. The end is the clients or customers or the common people should get benefit from this research. So it should be useful to our society. So for policymakers or investors or funding body, they will understand that the potential impact of your research. So potential impact of your research, we should commercialize our research. We should convince the funding bodies to invest more in research, and thereby we can influence the policymakers, right? So whenever an investor or anyone wants to invest, of course, we invest in gold, we invest in any land documents. Why do we invest? We get benefit. Like that, whenever government or a private or a policy, they want to invest in a research, you should get an end product. So that is the core idea. Now, to improve the public outreach of our work, we should always focus on all these men. Normally, as I have quoted, R.K. Lakshman's quote, this is a famous quote, common man never dies. Of course, every research, the end product, it is directed towards our common man. So bring your science within the reach of the common man, right? So India is today a leading edge research in a diverse field. Scientists are working on batteries, hydrogen, fuel cells, energy, quantum computing, any semiconducting device, conventional energy. So there are many areas where India has a potential future, like fossil fuel like petrol or diesel. We are getting very less as day by day progresses. Now the idea is to focus on these fossil fuels. So fossil fuels, if we are going run out of it, then we need to go look into for hydrogen fuel. Then we have to look over for other fuels. So lithium ion batteries are there. So these are the things we are going. So today's lecture is to focus on the thrust areas and about few funding agencies, and also if possible I will relate to the technology IPR related thing. Now if you go to the India government website, they have listed what are the scientific educations, what are the research and development agencies that are available. For example, if you go and visit to the site, they are having what are the detailed demands of the grants of Ministry of Science and Technology, what are the proposals, what are the websites for each and individual department. For example, we have Department of Space, Department of Science and Technology, ISRO, Indian Scientific Research Organization. Then we have DRDO, Defense Research Development Organization, UGC. All these they have listed in a single source. So I hope most of the people are from either from south, and many people are from north if they have participated, and they know that the single source of website to first start with is this website where they have listed it right now, India government .gov.in. Right. So if we go into that, they are given what is the research and development core area, thrust area. Now we'll have another question. Where do I get the theme? What is it? In which area I should write a proposal? Generally, when we look over it, even for a common women component system to promote among a self-help group, science and technology is sponsoring for women, even for smaller sector to promote research and development in adapting technology to improve the quality of a life of working condition of women, to improve newer opportunities or gainful opportunities in rural areas. So to increase the contribution of women scientists to the technology-based developments. So in each and every aspect, the government is focusing. What are the priority area? See, the priority area, it varies a wide large. Suppose people in this webinar may be sitting with a physics background or a chemistry background, mathematics, mechanical, electrical, civil or engineering background, or even from humanities, English or social studies. So there are many areas to work with. Suppose if I have a specific area, even in agriculture sector, we are having post-harvesting technology, agricultural implements they can use by the women to improve the productivity. So there are many health areas where people can concentrate. So design and fabrication of equipments, tools, machineries used by women. So upgradation of all these things. So these are the one of the priority areas. So science and technology, then and there, they usually promote the thrust areas. See, the thrust area, core group of scientists will work on the thrust area. These thrust areas are revised once in every 10-15 years. So the government will release it in their website. Now, where do I find that? So now if we go for some of these schemes, for example, I have highlighted some of these schemes. For example, if you go to a science and technology website, they are having science and technology for women. Then tribal subplan, technological interventions for tribal empowerment for scheduled caste peoples. So technological advancements for rural area, technological intervention for addressing societies for young scientists. So schemes for young scientists and technologies. These are the various areas that they have listed. Now you see, some are beneficiary oriented, some are technology oriented. For example, if few schemes thrust areas government announced by beneficiary, for example, it may be suitable for rural area. If it is rural area, then rural people should get advantage of it. They should be the end user. So the focus should be for a beneficiary. In some cases, we have technological development scheme where we need to fabricate a newer device or any fabrication device. So when you go to the website, they have given what are the guidelines, terms, conditions for formulating a proposal. They have also given pro forma for submitting. It is just like filling up forms. So those forms are available. So to support science and technology based on NGOs, colleges, universities are being funded by these many organizations. So the catalyst and to support the development, we people are working. So in many areas, all this science and technology can be built up. So either they can be made up by the bottom-up approach rather than top-down approach. So the funding agency try to reach either individual teachers or scientists, teachers working in our arts and science, engineering, either they can be autonomous institutes like your institute, or else from deemed university. In any universities, Indian recognized universities, they are funding. So it is like bottom-up approach, reaching the faculties. Through faculty, the projects are developed. So this is the core thing. Now, If we go to the science and technology website, dst.gov.in, they have listed various fellowships and opportunities for researchers. So in that, see, for example, I'll just mark it. So when you go for the website, we are having call for proposals. So if we look at the call for proposals, we can clearly see that every 6 months, 3 months or 6 months, they will update the websites whenever the project is advertised. The first advertisement will be listed in the dst.gov.in for the fellowships opportunities. So next, if I look at the opportunity, what are the opportunities? For example, now here, if we go into that website, we are having, you see, they have scientific and engineering research board. In that DST, you please listen carefully that in that science and technology, we have science and engineering research board, number one, technology development board. Science and engineering research board, they are having many facilities like sponsoring of research mega facilities or R&D for infrastructure like FIST, science and technology for science students or yoga. Then for higher research, apart from this, there are senior research fellowship like Swarna Jayanti fellowship, technology development, all these research fellowships are there. Then you are having technology development board. In this technology development board, they have clearly given what are the funding available. In that funding, which department can apply. Any faculty, for example, whether they are mechanical, electrical, civil, mathematics, chemistry, or physics department faculty can apply. Like this, they have separate schemes. Then the third one is international science and technology cooperation. I'll also list this in the later slides. This is collaborative between Indian government and other foreign countries. So the next question will arise, which country should I apply? For example, if Japan has come forward for a scientific collaboration, then the first announcement will be in the website regarding Indo-Japan, Indo-China, Indo-America, or else German-Indian collaborative research scheme. So in that, you will see what are the conditions. Then for socio-economic programs, science and technology for humanities people, then technology mission and women's scheme. So these are the various schemes that are available, broadly classified. So if you go into that, inside the website, you see that dst.gov.in announcement, applications are invited throughout the year. Many scholarships or fellowships or funding proposals are invited throughout the year. Some of the common schemes, for example, STEM demonstrations, Asian India Research Fellowship, then Abdul Kalam Technology Innovation National Fellowships, and also from Research and Training Fellowships for developing countries, and SERB Research Scientist schemes. These schemes are available throughout the year. If you go into the website, you click this, then the details will appear. So in that, we can go there and we can apply. Next is thrust area for STEM. So STEM, it is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. This is regarding conduct of science fair, mela, exhibitions, mobile science exhibitions, in establishing science and technology through interactive medium for school students. Okay, who can organize it? Even we college people can apply this funding agency. We can get this STEM funding agency. Now we can utilize these funds. So any college or university or any schools can apply for this STEM, and we can be a host institute to create awareness of science for school students, right? So this is one such scheme. So there are different schemes available for demonstrations. For example, we can highlight on environmental, health, vermicomposite, biological materials like this. Science toys exhibitions can be displayed. Puppet shows like any script dialogue writing or solving a mathematical puzzles, or else 10-minute design of any logical games, quizzes can be formulated. This is also one such project where our faculty can work on. Then the next question arises is, sir, where should I go there and apply? See, first thing is you have to visit the DST website. Now, inside that, you need to go in for online dst.gov.in. It is an online web portal. Now, you need to register this online portal. So, you need to create user ID, password. The individuals or institutions can register. It is not about who should, whether we are working in a private or a government. See here, private, government, temporary, permanent doesn't hold any validity. If you are working in any of a private college or any deemed university, anyone can apply the project. It is only whether we will be able to execute the project in proper manner. Now you need to go there, register, like your email ID, you are going to register it, and you need to create your profile, and then we have to have a username and a password. Through this, they are having stepwise. You see that inside this website, if we go there, and you can clearly see that what are the schemes and formats available. Now, after registration, I can go into the schemes and the formats available. So if we go into the schemes and formats, whenever the schemes are open, you can click it. So you need to submit what is your name, date of birth, what is your department you are working. All these details you need to register. So apart from this, first and foremost thing, after registration, you need to create PI, principal investigator registration. Individual faculty need to go there and register, and they have to, like email ID, they have to register. We are watching many online programs. So for each and every programs or a movies, we are registering through online. Like that, you are going to register it. So this is the online portal. Now, if you go inside for an online portal, for example, this is a international collaborative scheme. See, for example, as I mentioned you, see, this is Indo-Japan Science and Technology. I think it is very small. I thought it's very big. Okay. Next is Indo-German DST DAD, Indo-Australia, and also Indo-Austria. So these are the schemes that are available at present. For example, they'll give you what is the status, whether it is active or inactive. So I copied this few days back. So these are the some of the schemes that are available. So whom to contact, where to contact. So what is the preference contact time? You see, whenever any scheme is open, they'll have the website. Inside the website, they'll put active. Active means currently the proposal is open. So if we see that we are having nanoscience, nanotechnology, and also for special reservation, technological intervention for tribal empowerment, like this, many fields are there. So these fields, if you go there, you can see which schemes are available. Generally, I am saying that the available schemes that are available. The next is nanoscience and technology. Inside that online DST, what are the proposal formats? You see that now, if someone can look over it, they are having nanoscience and nanotechnology. So the schemes available, what is the scheme that is available throughout the year? Now you can go there, contact it. You see that the download forms are available. From that website, you can download it. So here, if I click the download, the application form will appear. You have to write your name, address, what is your current profile, what are your research papers, publications. Inside that, your core area. I'll go into the thrust area later stage. First, I'll tell what are the proposals or what are the proposal themes that are available. Okay, so first I'll explain what are the themes that is available, then we will go for thrust areas that is available. Okay, even if you want, I can show you through online live what are the thrust areas that is available, right? So these are the thrust area. If we mention about women scientist scheme, now we need to look over the women scientist scheme. What are the schemes that is available for a woman? Now you can go there, visit there. It will it is mentioned as the women scientist scheme that is available. You see that it is active 28/10/2021 to 30th November. It is there, date is there for scheme for young scientists and technologists. This is for women scheme. Then for scheduled caste and scheduled tribal women, they have special scheme. So like this, every 1 month or 2 months, they will keep on updating all the data in the website. So you need to first go there to the website, online DST proposal website. Then you need to go through all the schemes that is available. First, we need to visit the website. The major problem of the many faculties is that they keep on calling me, or whenever there is a discussion, they inform me that what is the proposal. Nowadays, people say that they are not getting project proposal. No, how many people has applied? If you want to get a project, first they need to apply. Without applying, they cannot ascertain, they cannot make a guest. Then other thing is DST woman scientist scheme is available. For this woman scientist, for a PhD completed or equivalent candidate after PhD, if they are having break, they'll be preferred much. So they are having various schemes, which includes almost the gross emoluments would come around. It is almost equivalent to an assistant professor with the DRA, and they'll be giving all the fellowship. Now you see that inside the woman scientist, they have given, you see, they have given all the details of the schemes. What are the details they have given? What are the registration details? Now registration details is what I'm going to do. I'm going to register my profile. The next is mentor, where you are going to get attached. Suppose if I'm going to work in a college, or if I'm going to go collaborative research work, I should have a mentor. It is more or like a research guide. It is not like a guide to sign everything, but a faculty should monitor all your progress. Then project detail, what are the finance details, then what is the project proposal. All these have to be carried out in step by step. Biodata of a principal investigator, biodata of a mentor. Then if you have any reservation certificates, then we need to update. We need to update the date of birth certificates. So all these we need to mention, like filling up a form for a employment. Like this, they have given all the thing. We need to upload it online, then we can view it. So after that, you need to submit the application form. So this is where you are going to have woman scientist scheme. So this woman scientist, they are having all the projects and proposals in this area, right? So next is the special schemes for scheduled caste and scheduled tribal. So for a scheduled caste or a scheduled tribal people, whether male or a female, they have a separate scheme. So now in that, what are the schemes that is available? So now we need to go in for the schemes that is available. So these also I should mention in that instance. These are varied between time to time. For example, I might have in this time, it might be open for a scheduled tribal people, or it may be a scheduled caste people, or for a woman. In that, if for a reserved people, for a woman, it all depends on what is the area, thrust area that government is announcing. So these are the things you should clearly look over it. Apart from this, if you go for an agriculture sector, Indian Council for Agricultural Research, they are having many research themes that is available. So you can also go through their website. The next is Department of Biotechnology. Department of Biotechnology, it is having a broad classification. So the broad classification, they are funding it for many schemes, which includes biological material and physical aspects and also in chemical aspects. So just I have listed what are the stages that are available, what are the broad classification in biotechnology, right? Just hold on. Okay. So now in this biotechnology, they have 4 broad classification: medical biotechnology, agriculture, animal and allied sciences, knowledge generation, energy, environment and biosciences. So if we go into this website, we have vaccination development, for example, in biomedical biotechnology, stem cell research, human maternal child health, infectious diseases, so chronic diseases, biological diseases, like that you are having many areas. In the agricultural and animal allied health sciences, you are having agricultural biotechnology, then fisheries. So all these things that are available. So in the stage 3, you have knowledge generation, discovery, and regarding this tool, we have informatics, bio nanotechnology, and in energy and environment, we have energy biofuels, environmental biotechnology, bioresource, and forest biotechnology. So these are the broad classification. First, we need to look over which area do we suit. So next, then only we will be able to apply for this project. Suppose if I apply for any funding proposal, what is the method they carry on? So first is I need to submit a project proposal submission. Then we'll have internal screening committee. The internal screening committee, they will peer review it and they'll send for external review. So whether if I have science and technology, biotechnology, or any other department, first they will have the internal screening committee. The next is at the first instant itself, they will screen your proposal. So whether it is suitable to send it for technical review, then only they will send it to the technical committee. Next is technical evaluation committee. So this technical evaluation committee, they will decide on it, whether technically this is feasible, what are the available. Then for the next is this next stage wise, we have any financial limits. For example, there may be proposals up to 25 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 1 crore, 2 crore, 5 crore. So they will have a board, and this board will decide on the suitability of the project and also the technical feasibility. Both these things will be evaluated, and after approval of the technical committee, your finance committee will look over the project and sanction the project proposal. And after evaluating all these things, they will send you the final sanction order. Depending on the final sanction order, you will get the funding. So this is how the funding agencies work. See, for example, if I have a biotech DBT, biocare research grant, they are having PhD with the age limit. Women scientists are also engaged in it. So they are having who are employed or unemployed, if someone is having a break in it. Now, if I want to apply for a scheme, now you need to visit Department of Biotechnology website, DBT website. In that, you just people need to visit to a research and development. So in that research and development, the areas we can choose it. So what are the proposals that is available? Then what are the research areas that is available? So these are the different sub classifications under which the broadly classified division is having. We are having, right? Now, in that, if you want to go for any particular project area, you need to recover the thrust areas inside the sub classification. See, generally, someone says that I'm a chemistry faculty, I'm a biotechnology faculty. Which area can I apply? It is not like that. See, for example, if we go for any purchase to a Diwali festival, what dress do I purchase? Of course, we are going to buy dress. What dress I need to purchase? Then I should have a specific budget. In that budget, I should have a specific classification. For example, I want which color, what is the design, what is the latest. So like this, you need to go into the website. What are the broad classification that is available, sub classification that can suit our profile, then the feasibility of the proposal, and also regarding the funding. So these are the things we need to clearly look over it. Now, the next thing is regarding some of the key statistics here I want to mention. For example, if you look over it, biotech department has almost, they are given 61 lakh services. In the past 1 year, there are 2000 projects are going on, right? Ongoing projects. So far, they have sanctioned 4000 projects, which is 74 international collaborations throughout India. They have given. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, you can continue, sir.
Okay. So the scientists, 31,000 scientists have been supported. You see, large scale of funds are sanctioned. Even in this COVID situation, the technology that is generated is 619. So far, almost 800 patents and 17,000 publications have been published by Department of Biotechnology funding. You see such a large amount. So the next question people will ask, sir, I belong to physics department. Can I apply for a biotechnology? Of course, if we work on biological material, I can apply. Suppose some people will work on theoretical. For example, they may be working in on nonlinear optics or some other area. Suppose I may be working on electronics. The electronic part may not be directly related to the Department of Biotechnology. Suppose if there are any applications of my research area in Department of Biotechnology, if the thrust area is such that or both the areas coincide together, then we can apply for the Department of Biotechnology. It is not that only biology people need to apply for biotechnology. No, whether you can be a physics or a chemistry or a biotechnology, mathematics or a chemical engineer or any mechanical engineer, anyone can apply for a biotechnology research project. So there are many autonomous institutions and public sector units which is collaborated with this biotechnology. So all these agencies are generously supporting the biotechnology, and they reach all the researchers throughout the country. So in that biotechnology, it is Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council, BIRAC. It is a non-profitable organization under Department of Biotechnology. So it is having industry and academic interference partnership, whether our research can result in a product. So for this technological innovations, they help us. Suppose if we are well enough to reach them, if we have a problem and a solution to solve, then they can help us in making it into a product or a design. So first part, we have to initiate it. The next part, they can initiate. So Biotech Innovation Ignition School, BIIS. So they are having through BIS, they support agricultural, medical devices, physiochemistry, microbiology. So all these departments are interlinked. So they have almost, this BIRAC has supported almost 1,000 startup companies, even if it is a small product related. For example, for a plant biocomposite or a vermicomposite, if they are planning, now this startup is supported by this BIRAC. Suppose if we are having industry, a small scale industry is we are having. Suppose if that industry we want to collaborate, we can collaborate and we can submit a proposal to the BIRAC. If it is a smaller scale industry, depending on the industry scale, if we are able to make successful product, then they will fund the project. So now the next thing is you need to focus on the companies which can produce our products. So this is the next stage. Of course, it is not that all the research. See, when there are 1,000 research proposals, all the 1,000 research proposals cannot be made into a project. Of course, any product. Of course, we'll have some of the flaws in our research. In future, we can rectify. but we cannot ascertain that all the research area will end up in a good product. It is not so. We can have different research areas, and of course, obviously, we need to focus on the product oriented research. Okay, okay, madam, how much time do I have? Can you make it? How long do I have our presentation and also for discussion? Because it's
Sir, you can take till 4:55, sir.
okay, and I'll take another 10-15 minutes so that we'll have some 10-15 minutes interactions. Okay, now if you go into the BIRAC, Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council, now you see that BIRAC, they have announced a call for. In that call for, they have made clearly what is the date of submission. So 30th November, you see, they have announced many call fors. In some of the call fors, some is call for under BioNest scheme. This is having throughout the year. Like this, I can always have a proposal which is related to that area. So we need to go into that website. Now the call is also open in some of the BIRAC call. So last date for submission is 30th November. In each and every area, they have many openings. But only thing is we need to make an attempt in our area. The next thing is, this is BIRAC. So for BIRAC, as I mentioned, like biotechnology, they are having medicine, food, human and environmental health, technology and industry. Now, the National Commission for Women, they have given some of the research topic. For example, some of the research topics. So the research topics are having thrust areas. They are having empowerment of rural women through education and skill development, evaluation of policies through women and grassroots level. See, crime against women. So these are the some of the areas that even social or the English or literature or any other faculties can work with. So working in the new forms of employment and labor laws, pay distributed. So these are various levels of research areas that is available to take up the research. So we can always have a seminar in this organizing year. So last year in the financial year, these are the thrust areas that was announced by the by the Ministry National Commission for Women. So even social work students or a researcher or a faculty, English literature related faculties can also apply project in this area. You see that the Women National Commission for Women has proposed this empowerment of rural women, evaluation of policies. For example, if we have some of the English faculties, they can have a questionnaire. They can go visit for a rural woman, socially economically weaker section people. They can go there and they can prepare a questionnaire, set of questionnaire. Through the questionnaire, they can have a skill development program. What are the skill development that is required for a rural woman? Now we can suggest these kinds of policies to the government. So through this area, we can work on thrust area. Like this, every 10 years, the thrust areas will be announced. Through the thrust areas, whether we are working in a physics department, chemistry, biology department, English or mathematics or mechanical, electrical engineering, any department faculties can apply for these research projects, right? The next thing is AICTE, All India Council for Technical Education. Of course, here many faculties who have assembled here, they work in private engineering institutes, autonomous institutes or deemed universities. People are very well aware of AICTE. Now in AICTE, we have students and also faculty research funding areas. So if we go into the funding areas, for a student they are having, and also for faculties they are having. At present, even for a corona outbreak, the Department of Biotechnology has sponsored some of the funding agencies. Through that funding agencies, you can also apply for a project. It is not that only biotechnology or AICTE or UGC, DST or DRDO. Of course, there are many funding agencies. Due to the time restriction, I am limiting to some 3 or 4 funding agencies. For example, I'll just tell you one of the smaller example. Now, due to this coronavirus, everyone knows the real situation of the current world. For the past almost after 600 days, schools are open. Now, we need more researchers into the viral research area. So efforts are made by the Department of Biotechnology to identify the coronavirus cell. So what is the implications of this corona outbreak when it enters into the body? So how it affects the body? So these are the investigations that is going on. Now they are funding more funds towards these areas. For example, just for awareness and just to create everyone knows about the coronavirus, just to create a glimpse about it, I just made it. See, for example, flu is there, COVID, SARS virus is there. SARS is severe acute respiratory syndrome. So you see that the coronavirus, they have size effect. Now, nanotechnology people or biotechnology people work on the size effects. Now you see that we are having such smaller sizes particle. If you see that through a reverse osmosis or a nanofiltration, if we have, we can able to restrict. Now most of the time the Prime Minister insists on being safe, maintaining social distance, having mask, or the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister is insisting on this, wearing mask. So all these are time and again everyone is insisting. Why is that? Because it is 0.06 to 0.14 micrometer in length. So the diameter of the coronavirus. If you are going to have a nanofiltration membrane, which is pore size is 0.001 or 0.0001 micrometer, the reverse osmosis membrane, it can prevent coronavirus entering through breathing, one of the way. So now you see that we have some of the research area in nanofiltration membranes. So reverse osmosis membranes. So these are the membrane area that we can work on. So for that only I've just made just to inform about the areas which is available. I have mentioned about the coronavirus. Of course, it depends upon which area we are going to work in the coronavirus in the membrane area. And please note that we are having only 2 virology research centers. I think one is in Pune, and there are only few centers which work on viruses. There are hundreds of centers around India where people are working on bacteria. People are working in bacteria, but there are only few centers who work on viruses. Okay, so the number of people involved in the virus research area is very less. Even biotechnology, biochemistry, medical biology students, many people, they avoid in working it because they think that, okay, what is this virus research working on? But now you see the importance of research on viruses. So there are a lot of opportunities. And of course, medical area is one such broad area that people can work on. So this is one research area. The next is Technology Development Board. So the Technology Development Board, TDB, they are giving research fundings towards any product. For example, you might have an idea about fabrication of some mask. Now double layer mask, triple layer mask is available. Some of the mask they have created through electron discharge mask, which can kill the viruses, coronavirus. So like this, many products are developed. So the product development is emphasized, is very much in related to this Technology Development Board. So Technology Development Board, the main objective of it is to promote new ideas of small entrepreneurs. So encourage production of competitive consumer product. So if it is a consumer product and they are giving in a production in a smaller scale, which can reach the clients or a customer, the Technology Development Board is helping many such people. So the idea of Technology Development Board is to commercialize and should be unique. So these are the areas that they are finding. So what is its proactive stance? The board, it can facilitate interaction between industry, scientists, technocrat, and specialists. They can facilitate the creation of new generation of entrepreneurs, and it can assist partners with a similar technologies or financial bodies. It create new job opportunities. Just to have a innovative usage of technology, I have included Tom and Jerry cartoon. You see that just a new idea to implement it. Also, this is the main theme of the Technology Development Board. Now we have National Research Development Corporation, NRDC, established in 1953 by Government of India. They mostly focus on large scale industries like agriculture, chemical processing, drug, pharmaceutical, metallurgical, electronic instrumentation, building, mechanical, electrical, and electronic industries. So these are the larger areas that they fund most of the thing. Next is, for example, even the funding agencies, private funding agencies, the Volkswagen car agencies, so they even fund for Corona for science and technology development scholarships. So these are the many areas like this. SPIC is there, private agency. Of course, I have if I include private agencies also, the list will go on. Now we have SPIC, HCL Technologies, and also Wipro. There are a lot of agencies that fund for these R&D agencies. Next is NCBS, National Center for Biological Sciences. So they exclusively work on biological sciences. They give lot of funding, and the funding can be related to any metals, materials, which is more or less related to the biological area. So it is much related to the medical area. So these are the areas that mostly they work on. So in general, it is directed towards material. These materials leads us to devices and modules, and we can have applications. People should bear in mind that, as I mentioned earlier, R.K. Lakshman's quote, the common man never dies. So the technology is for the world and not for the man alone. See, I can produce a conductive composite, hydrogen fuel, supercapacitor, terabyte memory, field emission display, and everything I can produce. But all this should be directed towards a common man, and the common man has to live. So the technology is for the world, and I want to mention, and not for the man alone. I want to mention it is even in Tamil. இந்த மாற்றம் அப்படின்றது உலகத்துக்கு தேவையான மாற்றம், ஆனால் மனிதனுக்கு மட்டுமே தேவைப்படும் என்று மனசுல வச்சுக்கூடாது. நம்ம மனுஷனுக்கு மட்டும் கிடையாது, பொதுவா எல்லா உலகத்துல இருக்கிற எல்லாருக்காகவும். So it is for the whole world and not for a man alone. So I'd like to thank the immense dreams which has created by a single source of person, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, whom many people we have dreamed, and I had an opportunity to meet him. So this is one such instance I want to quote. And I don't want to mention about Dr. Abdul Kalam. Such is his perfection in timing or a sincere dedication which made him to live in our heart. So dreams is not what you see in sleep. It is the thing which doesn't let you sleep. So on behalf of organizer, I wish everyone for their future to be a successful one. So I'd like to thank all the organizers. So arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. So this is what Swami Vivekananda quote. Want to make it. Jai Hind. And then our question is open.
Sir, I have a question, sir.
Yes, madam. Madam, who is in the line? Yes, madam.
Vasumati, sir.
Yes, madam. Just
Yes.
Just yes, madam.
Shall I continue, sir?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Apart from that biotechnology field, is there any field on which government is focusing more for funding, sir? Like contributing more amount for the funding? Is there any specific field apart from that biotechnology?
Madam, this is again a simple question. Which shop offers more variety of dresses? It's like that. Madam, first thing is which department people want to apply. For example, if you belong to physics, madam, I can say that science and technology offers 100 crores. Yes, of course, they have given 100 crores to University of Madras, 150 crores. And they are giving 100 crores. Of course, then the limit is 100 crores. They can give. But what is the proposal they are giving? So it is up to the people who has to choose on it. Suppose if you justify enough for a 50 crore or 100 crore, they can go for it. So it is the project justification need. They can give it. Say, you are asking who is giving more funding. Department of Science and Technology is giving 15,000 crores, madam. So they can give. But whether we are able to get it, in that sense, what is the proposal that we are going to give it? So that is the first and foremost thing. Every faculty keeps me asking the same question. Sir, who is giving more fund? Yes, of course, Department of Science and Technology is giving 15,000 crores. This is the only answer I can answer, madam.
Okay.
You apply for it funding, definitely you will get funding.
No, sir, not like who's going to give me the money. I'm asking, like, is there any specific area of interest for which if in case I'm involving in that particular area, I have been, if I'm going to be exposed to that area, then I have more opportunities to be funded with more amount.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. I can understand your question.
Yes, sir, yes,
Suppose
sir.
for example,
Yeah.
yes, madam. Suppose for example,
who's going to give large money, like in
yes, I'll explain. Suppose for example, if I'm working in optical materials, the thrust area every 10 years in science and technology website, they'll give you thrust area. So if I want to work on a project, for example, nanomaterial composites for hyperthermia applications, for medical biological applications, for heat resistance applications. Suppose if I am well enough to fit into that area, I cannot directly work on biological material. Suppose I am working in electrical electronic material. If biological thrust area is announced, I can make my material to test for that compatibility. If it suits that, then I can propose my material, zinc oxide, titanium oxide, or other composite oxide material. We can test that area. Suppose if I have paper in zinc oxide, titanium oxide, zirconium oxide, ceramic oxide, which can fit into that area, I can work on it. Suppose if I'm working on electrical and magnetic material, ferrites and manganites, suppose if it suits for the hyperthermia application that thrust area biotechnology is proposing, then I need to write my research area, which is quite related to the biotechnology area, so that they will provide funding. So this is how you need to fit into that proposal area. Every area, suppose if I am specialized in one material, for that particular material alone, government will not announce some of the schemes. For the government announcement schemes, I should look over whether I suits to that research area, whether my material can be implemented in that research area, whether it can be tested for any biological activity. Like that, we need to carry on our material.
Okay.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Yes,
I'm Dr. Tanuja from Sri Sairam Engineering College.
yes,
I have two doubts. One is about the budget proposals. So how to write, that is prepare a budget for applying the projects. Another one is I am in chemistry, so only the synthesis part alone I can do proposal. That is, these are the two queries I have, sir.
Okay, then the budget is, suppose madam is from some of the biotech chemistry area. Suppose if you work on synthesis of organometallic organic compounds, you can write on budget on general classification. They have in every department, they have given what is JRF funding. For example, for junior research fellowship, if the funding is 30 to 40,000 rupees, you need to put 40,000 for 12 months for all 3 years. Then what is the contingency? Contingency, if it is 30,000 to 40,000, 50,000 for 1 month, 1 year, then you put it to 50,000 or 1 lakh for contingency, 50,000, 50,000. Consumable, if you think that your organometallic compound costs much, it is around 1 lakh, 1.5 lakh, you put it 1 lakh, 1.5 lakh for the every year. Like this, they have subdivisions. Suppose if you want any minor equipments, for example, 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs, you put the minor equipment 5 lakh to 10 lakh. So you calculate the budget total, row wise, column wise, you can calculate it. Then you can present the budget like this. The budget can be either in many funding agencies, for example, DST, DRDO, all the funding agencies, mostly they will have 25 to 30 lakh. First stage is 30 lakhs. Next stage is 50 lakhs. Then next bigger budget is 1 crore. Depending on your budget size, your project size, you can extend to your budget. So this is one question, right? I have given any clarity for your
No, sir. I have yes. I'm clear now. But only thing is whether if I post for high budget, sometimes it may be rejected like that. My colleagues are saying. So is that so, sir?
Yes, madam. Madam, first thing I will say is you close your ears for. I'm not discouraging. You never look over anything. So first thing is how many people has applied for projects, how many got rejected. So all these people will keep on saying you apply or go for budget, you will get rejected. Madam, first stage is we are going to go into a stepping stones. First stepping stone, whenever people ask for funding, they will say, sir, we don't have fundings. Now the funding agencies, they are giving 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs. If you go for a first funding, definitely you'll give 10 lakhs. When they go for first funding, before going for first funding itself, they'll say that, sorry, we need 1 crore for this to implement budget. Then definitely they won't give it. So first step is you stick on to the budget, which is around 20, 25 lakhs, 30 lakhs. You first clear that project. Then you can go for a 50 lakh project or 1 crore project. If you crack the first step, definitely the next step will follow. Without cracking the first step, without taking a first step, you won't. Then I'll say the best suggestion is never listen to those people's.
Yes,
you can directly go for proposal, madam.
Yes, sir. Actually, I have applied, sir. 2 proposals I have applied. It went for evaluation stage and then later rejected. So that is why when I discussed with my friends, they told like this. So
how much budget did you propose?
It is just 30 lakhs, sir.
Madam, first instance, that's what I said. First budget, you go for 10 to 20 lakhs. The first itself I said. Then you can go for 20 to 30. Depending on the funding agency, you please go in for a smaller budgetary. Around 10 to 20 lakhs. Already for a screening, what is the process of screening? I told that the budget restrictions, please limit to around 25 lakhs. That's what I mentioned. I think what is the process of step evaluating? I have mentioned that 25 lakhs. So better you keep it around 25 lakhs. Definitely you will get it.
Sir, is that if I review it, that is, if I revise the projects, I can send it to the same funding agency?
It is up to you, madam. If you feel that again sending to the same rejected people, it is like sending to the same journal. Of course, you can fight on it, but better you can suggest, go for it. If you applied for DST, you can apply for DRDO like that, or biotechnology. You can change the funding agency. Or if you feel that strong enough that this project will go through, if it is around 25 lakhs, definitely go for the same funding agency. Nothing wrong in it.
Okay, sir. Welcome. Thank you very much for clearing all my doubts, and it is very informative session.
Okay, thank you. Welcome. So if someone has some other clarification, definitely they can ask it.
Sir, one more question. Can I ask, sir?
Definitely, madam. Welcome, madam.
I don't know whether it is correct or not. Like, let us assume that I have given some proposal and my proposal has been accepted and they have agreed to give me some funding. Whether the funding is based on the outcome. If the outcome of the project is not like as expected, the result of the project, whatever I have proposed, the result, in case if it is being harmful to the environment, in that case, will that funding agency will withdraw the amount whatever they have?
No, madam. No, madam. Once, no. Don't get fear into this. Once when you propose a proposal, for example, if I work on nanomaterial, some of the material, after synthesize, we are proposing so and so, and we get an end product. The first year sanction will be there, second year sanction will be there, third year sanction will be there. After 3 years, you are saying that operation is success, but patient is dead. Of course,
Yes,
This is what is happening in 99% of the projects. In India, many proposals, it is on trial basis. We cannot ascertain that whether my project will end in a result in a product. No. Suppose if it is a failure, at the end of a proposal, while sending utilization certificate and project closure statement, you please specify that we have adopted 3 years stepwise. In all these stepwise, you have carefully adopted. This has resulted in a negative result. So these kinds of result would help in future to avoid these kinds of negative results. So this you can proposal and you can justify it, and after a submission they'll close the project. So even in mechanical engineering or engineering, there is a area field called failure analysis. So this failure analysis will definitely help the future researchers. Definitely it is also a welcome move by most of the science and technology people. So it's not an issue.
Okay.
They will never penalize you. They will never withdraw you.
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Participants, any other questions? Esther ma'am?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Shall we conclude the session?
Yes.
If questions are there.
Okay. We can conclude the session. Now I request Ms. Vasumati ma'am, Department of Physics, to deliver the vote of thanks.
I now formally conclude the session by proposing the vote of thanks. Once again, a warm evening to all. Art of gratitude is a humane pursuit. In accordance with the above saying, on behalf of our Panimalar Engineering College Management and Physics Department, thanks to Almighty for strengthening us to organize and conduct 2 days FDP program in a successful and memorable way via this online platform during this pandemic situation. We are eternally grateful towards our both meticulous chief guests, Mr. Dr. S. Kumaresan sir and Mr. Dr. S. Gopalraj sir, for embellishing this event with your profound knowledge and for giving excellent coverage to the topic under your coverage. Both of your erudite presentations triggered research mind inside us. Everything starts with a planning, and planning has to be followed by execution. It may seem to be a simple two-step process, but bringing these two-step process alive requires perpetual effort besides guidance. So yes, we have made this day into a fruitful memory which will linger in our minds long-standing through our ceaseless hard work. We seize this moment to express our heartfelt gratitude towards our college management and our valuable principal and our mother physics department, who gave us space and great strength to proceed further to conduct this 2 days FDP program in a successful manner within a very short span of time. Last but foremost, we cordially thank our genial participants for connecting with us virtually for these 2 days and keeping the session alive by your live interactions. Thank you once again. Now I kindly request our chief guest as well as all our participants to switch on the video for a moment for a virtual photo session. Participants, kindly switch on your video. Yes, thank you, participants. Thank you all. Thank you, sir.
நன்றி வணக்கம் ஜெய் ஹிந்த்.
Now, conclude this session with the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Participants, kindly fill the feedback form. Second day's feedback form link has been posted in the chat box, as well as in the for the participants, those who have joined via YouTube. It has been posted on the live chat. So please do kindly fill the feedback form for day 2.
Vasmati ma'am, can we end the session?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.